This here is our most recent order that we've done. That's a bulk order from Honest to Goodness, topping up all of our pantry staples. We've got some really huge bags, like 25-kilo bags of oats and sugar, some big bulk bags of flour, and lots of other staples as well. So today in this share, I'm going to show you how we did this bulk order. I'm going to take you through the ordering itself, the delivery, and also show you everything that we've got in this haul and how we also store it up. G'day there, it's Rachel here from Bush Edge Homesteading Australia, and this area here is actually an area in my study where we keep a lot of our bulk food when we do things like bulk purchases of staples. It's also a bit of a spot where I keep the overflow from the kitchen pantry of all the canned and also some of the dehydrated products and things like our vanilla, when we make vanilla extract, a whole bunch of those goodies, cider. Yeah, that all kind of sits in here. But what I wanted to share with you guys today is the containers that I have here and the fact that they are completely empty at the moment. So these are things like our bulk flour storage. And I've got containers for things like the white flour. That's what we probably use the most of. I have done rye in the past in bulk. I found I didn't use it quick enough, so I don't tend to do that in bulk anymore, but we do also often get the baker's flour, so that often goes in there. Oats, I've got a couple of containers, this one here, and whole wheat flour at the end there. These are all totally empty, so I need to top all of those up. Over here, I also have a couple more containers, and these ones are for sugar, and I've also got another one over here for oats. And all these containers, these are from Bunnings. The ones over here are 35-litre ones. There's a bit of the details there if you do find yourself looking for these. And yes, they are importantly food safe, even though they are plastic. And back over here, these ones here are just 20-litre. And again, importantly, also food safe. When it comes to the bulk food storage, I tend to get the orders and put them straight in here. And what I'm hoping to do in this video is to show you guys the ordering and also when we actually get the order and fill these back up again, all in this one video. You'll see when I do get the order, I don't tend to freeze things, and it often is a really good idea with these types of staples to freeze because it can kill, like, if there is any bugs or eggs or anything like that. We just don't have the freezer space here, so I don't do that. But these are airtight, and I'll be honest, I haven't actually ever had an issue with bugs getting into any of these. So I don't know if that's because it is airtight and it kind of kills things off, or it's just pure luck. But yeah, we haven't frozen to date. Need to find some wood to touch because I'm probably jinxing myself by saying that. We don't use these as like our day-to-day usage. What we do is we actually take amounts off here and then we take that into our normal kitchen pantry. So what I'll do is I'll show you how we take the bulk food from here to there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to make an order because I can't not have things like oats and flour and sugar. Yeah, they're staples that we use an awful lot of in this house. So what we'll do is we'll open up the computer together and we'll make a bit of an order too. But first, I'm going to show you in the pantry and up here. So these ones here, these are all smaller containers that we have. And this is the day-to-day usage where we have flour and sugar, things like rice, breadcrumbs, that also sits in there. And these little containers are really quite good because they're nice and small enough that you can put them on the kitchen bench to use things. They're also airtight. Again, they're also food safe too. 2 litres, there you go. That's the smaller ones that we use. And that's often enough to do just day-to-day cooking. But whenever we're doing like big baking and preserving days, that's when you'll often see me grab out those 20 and 35-litre containers because we go through an awful lot of staples on those days. This here is the website that we use when we are doing orders from Honest to Goodness. You can actually have a bit of a look around without actually logging in, or you just want to get a bit of a sense of the sort of stuff they have. You just jump into the shop and there's lots of different categories, or you can go in via shop all. You can also do searching and stuff if there's particular things you know you need, like sugar, for example, that I need today. Also, ordering, I should mention there's two different ways you can go about doing it. I do have a previous video that I've done on the website where I've showed you how to do a retail order. I did show a couple little tips like for reducing shipping costs and stuff when I did that last one, so maybe that's one worth having a bit of a look at as well in addition to this video if you do want to do that. But today I'm actually going to do it a little bit different. I'm going to do a wholesale order, and I have previously registered because when you want to purchase wholesale through these guys, normal people like me, you can do that. You do have some requirements, like you've got to make orders that are over like $500, but yeah, I was able to set up an account, and yeah, I can make purchases to home. And if you're the sort of person that maybe isn't going to hit that $500 limit, I am aware of the fact that there is like kind of like buying groups where people get together, kind of similar to what we see people do in the US with Azure standard, and people get together and make a bulk order and split between them. And yeah, it does seem like there's a few people that do that here in Australia too. I'm not part of one of those, so I don't know the full details on it, but yeah, I have seen people mention they do that on some of the Facebook groups that I'm a part of. Anyway, today I'm going to do a wholesale order. So I need to go to the wholesale site. So that is a little bit different to if I was doing retail and just going in via login. Here I'm going to need to pop in my email address and my password. And now that I'm logged in, I can just either search the store or I can go in via the different categories to find the things that I need. Now, there's a couple of things that I definitely know I need today, and one is our 25 kilo bags of sugar. Absolutely love the raw sugar that these guys do. And that is that one there, so I definitely am going to add that one into the cart. I'm also going to get some more. Oh, let's go oats first of all, because I again want the really big bag of oats that they do. You can kind of see in the search, as soon as I start searching it up, it gives me lots of options. In fact, there's the one I want there, the 25 kilo bag of Aussie oats. So I'm going to grab one of those as well. I should mention, when you do the orders via wholesale, it is actually quite a bit cheaper than the retail site as well, but you do end up paying shipping. So sometimes that's like a little bit of a balance that you need to make, because you can actually work the retail one to get free shipping. So sometimes I do retail, sometimes I do wholesale, just kind of depending on how much I'm ordering and also what things are going to weigh as well, because that's what affects whether you get free shipping or not in retail. Okay, so next I'm going to search for the flour that I want, and there's like a white baker's flour, and there's also a white kind of just plain, and that's the one there. So that's the plain one that I want, and I'll add that one to the cart. But there is like a baker's one as well, so let's have a look and see if I can find that. Come back. Bakers. Stone ground. That's interesting. Might actually have a go at trying the stone ground baker's flour this time. Let's see what it says about that. Stone ground wheat flour containing a fine bran. Passed through a stone mill and most of the bran is removed. It gives it a stronger flavour and retains more nutrients. That actually sounds good to me, and that's something that we'll use in like our pizzas and things like that. We do pasta, baking of bread. So yeah, let's add that one to the cart too. All right, from here, what I'm probably going to do is just start kind of meandering around now, just to have a look at what other bits and bobs I want, and also what specials they have, because they actually sometimes have some really good specials in here. Just depends on whether they're things I need or not at the time, so often I'll just have a bit of a flick through and I'll grab things that I need. And is there anything? Maybe not today, or maybe apricots. Ooh, and molasses. Definitely could use some of those sorts of things. Actually, I am going to get a bit of dried fruit today because I do want to make sure that I've got plenty of fruit so that I can do some muesli. I often get the really big bags of the oats like I just showed you, along with fruit from these guys, so that we can do homemade muesli at home and it doesn't have a whole bunch of sugar and stuff like that added when you do it at home. So I will have a bit of a look through and find a few things that we can use to do that. Ooh, papaya. That's a nice big bag. I'm going to grab one of those as well. All right, so from this point, essentially all I'm going to do is just keep working through the site, grabbing things I want, and then at the end, I'll do my checkout of my cart, and then hopefully I can come back to you again very soon when I show you the delivery. Now, it's actually Friday evening, and all of these boxes just arrived, and we've quickly brought them all in the house because we actually need to head out. So I'm not going to get a chance to be able to open these all up today. But that does mean over the weekend, what I'll do is open the boxes up, lay everything out, and we can have a look together at exactly what we got. It's the weekend, and that means I can finally get stuck into all these boxes. Got my scissors ready so I can get into them, but what I'm going to have to do is find some way to pop down this gimbal, because I am using the new equipment that, if you followed along with us for a little while, I flagged we'd got some new audio and gimbal gear to make things a little bit better and stable with our videos. Yeah, if it does make it better, please do let me know in the comments, because I am really interested to hear from you guys. But yes, that isn't what this video is about. It's about getting into all of these boxes. So that's what we're going to do now. Okay, let's start with this one here, which I'm guessing is going to be either our sugar or the oats, because there were two really big bags that we ordered with this particular order. Yep, that one there. That is our oats, which means the other big bag over there, that'll be our sugar. Again, another heavy one. 25 kilos of organic sugar, and that's the raw sugar that we get. That bag does look a little bit different to the last times I've got it. It's actually going to be really interesting when I open that up. In fact, what we'll do is we'll open this up together in a minute, and I will fill up one of the white containers that we have and also do a bit of a top up of the kitchen containers too. That way we can have a bit of a closer look at it together. All right, let's get into this one next. All right, I might get these ones out on the table. They're goodies all laid out. Over here, we've got the 25 kilo bag of oats that we bought together. And over here, that one is our 25 kilos of organic raw sugar. I have noticed it does say raw on it. So even though that package does look a little bit different, I'm assuming it's going to be the same, but we'll definitely see when we open that up together in a second. Over here, I've got the 6 cans of the red kidney beans. Probably worth noting, because I don't think I mentioned it when we were doing the order together, that if you buy things in lots of, well, bulk lots, so in this case it was a lot of 6, it became cheaper than if I bought things in individual cans, like I did with those black beans. So it's just something to watch for when you're doing your ordering as well. On this side here, I've got things like the flour. So that one there is our bag of organic white flour. That there is what a 12.5 kilo bag looks like. So they are actually still quite a nice big bag. And on this side here, that one is the organic stone ground white baker's flour. We've got the blanched almond meal. Even though that was only 700 grams, it's quite a good size. Plenty big enough for the sort of baking that we do. This one here is the Australian sushi rice. I like the fact that it was Aussie, and I thought I'd just give it a try. Often the sushi rice that we get is from kind of the Asian stores and the like. But yeah, that was a first time for that one for me, so I can't say if it's good or bad, but we'll give it a crack. This one here is something that I've used quite a bit in the past, and that is the dal. Now that we're getting to the wintry time of the year, that's really good when we're doing kind of like an Indian cook-up. It's nice to have a bit of dal on the side. And then we get to our area over here with the nuts. Now, I've obviously made a little bit of a mistake when I did the ordering. I thought I only got 1 kilo of the insecticide-free almonds, but I actually got 2. So that is one of the downsides between ordering online when you're doing your food versus going into a supermarket. Like, you'd notice this sort of stuff if you're in a supermarket, if you had too many that you'd thrown into your cart. But sometimes when you're doing online food ordering, you don't notice, but we will use those. This one here is the maple roasted almonds. That is a new one again for us, but looking forward to trying those. They seem like they'd be a bit of a nice snack. Polenta. A couple of things here are inspired by our Ninja Creamy ice creams. Ooh, sorry about that, still getting used to the camera. This one here is some guar gum, and I've heard lots of people in the Facebook group saying that that changes the texture. We've also got the agave syrup as well, and that's supposed to be good for sweetening, a bit of a natural sweetener. So I'm looking forward to giving those both a bit of a go. It'll be the first time for those, because most of the Ninja Creamies we just kind of do with dairy, and we add in a lot of the fruits and stuff that we have. Sometimes we even just do sorbets with fruit. But yeah, these will allow us to experiment with a few different things in our Ninja Creamy ice creams. Coconut aminos is the next one there. So that's basically kind of like an alternative to soy sauce, just slightly different. It's kind of like a little bit of a sweeter, different flavour. Backstrap molasses for baking. And over here, we've got a bit of a top up on a lot of the things that we use for baking as well. So things like cream of tartar, baking powder, bicarb, and this one here in particular is aluminium free. So it's just something that if you care about aluminium in your baking powder, these guys do have one that doesn't have the aluminium in it. And then over here we've got our fruits. So I've got this nice big bag of dried papaya, which we got because it was on special. This beautiful big bag of dried strawberries. And yes, it probably seems a bit weird that we're getting dried strawberries given how many strawberries we grow. But it takes about 10 kilos of growing strawberries to be able to dehydrate down into 1 kilo. So that's still definitely worthwhile. Apricots and blueberries as well. Well, that's funny. The new equipment and the new gimbal has died of power. Apparently that didn't last too long. But anyway, I think I'm just going to have to play with that a little bit more. So I'm back to holding my phone and showing you the haul. I think we were up to this one here, which was the dried apricots. And next there is the dried blueberries. And they were 250 and 200 gram ones. Now with the dried fruits, the reason that I've got a bunch of those, as well as the almonds, which is also kind of why I'm not too stressed that I've got a double lot of almonds, and over here so many of these oats, is because at this time of the year we also used to do a lot of our own homemade muesli and granola. We like those types of cereals in the winter time, and having all these different types of dried fruits allows us to mix up and do lots of different flavours. I might actually share that with you in one of our future shares over winter when we do one of those batches up. But yeah, having all these beautiful dried fruits and nuts, and I've already got a lot of seeds and things that are partway through use in our cupboards. They will make for lots of yummy cereals over our winter. So I think what we'll start doing now is we'll start getting some of these really big bulk bags all into those containers that I showed you the other day, those ones from Bunnings that are the 35 and 20 litre food grade containers. I now officially have stuff everywhere in my kitchen now. But what I want to do before I get the bulk foods in is show you the two different containers and the openings on these, because I do struggle a little bit with these ones here. So they're the 20 litre containers. And the way the lids on these work is you pretty much need to prise the lids off. And I do struggle a bit with these. I have horribly weak wrists. And often I do end up getting hubby to open the lids on these for me. These ones here, however, are a little bit easier for opening. So these ones here have a twist lid, Now, I will say it's a bit easier to open them when they've actually got stuff in them because that holds it down, and then basically you just spin. But there we go. You can see you basically just spin those ones and then that lid comes off. So that is an awful lot easier to get open. That one there is the sugar one. And that's where I guess the downside comes in, is something like sugar is super, super heavy. And once this is filled up, and being a 35 litre container as well, this does get really heavy to move around. So when that's completely full, again, I'm often having to ask for a bit of help if I need to get the whole big thing into the kitchen. Often I'll just take things into the study and I'll decant from there because it is quite so heavy. So yeah, it's just something to think about if you are thinking about bulk food storage and the size containers. You can get what's called a gamma lid for these ones here. I don't have any of those. I have seen people get them from places like Super Cheap Auto, which seems really interesting. I don't know if those ones are food grade, so it's probably worth something checking if you do go there. But I have also seen them online too. That would probably make my life an awful lot easier if I actually just got some of those lids to put on here. But when I did look online, I think I looked on Amazon and they were really quite expensive for what they were. Much more expensive than the containers. So yeah, I've just stuck with what I have for now. Now we're going to start off by getting the sugar in this one here. So that's my sugar bag. Now I do know there's supposed to be a way that if you open these, it'll just open straight up. Let's see if I can get the right cord today. Probably no. There's many of you watching me right now, particularly people that do feed bags, that I'm sure are looking at me going, it's just this one here, pull it, Rach, and it will work. I can never find it. Every so often I get lucky, but yeah, today's not my day. So I'm going to do what I often do. Let's just cut the bag open, and then I'll just tip it straight in. This is definitely different to the last sugar. The last sugar I got was almost a little bit more orange and molassesy. In fact, I think I've got a tiny little bit left. Keen to see that side by side. Ooh, no, I don't have much left, but that there, that's the new sugar. Now, I did have some vanilla in this one here, which is why that is the only bit of sugar I had left in the house, but yeah, the colour, well, the brown in here is not so much from the vanilla. That is actually the colour of the sugar that it was. And it does look like there is quite a bit of a colour difference between the old sugar and the new brand of sugar that they're supplying. So hopefully that tastes as good, because one of the things we actually really like about the sugar and why we've been buying it like this for so many years from them is it has this really beautiful kind of almost like caramelly flavour to it. But yeah, that looks a little bit more refined. Anyway, we shall see. So probably one thing you did notice though is that this 35 litre container is the absolute perfect size for storing a 25 kilo bag of sugar. Next, we're going to go the oats. So the oats is also a 25 kilo bag, but obviously oats are a lot lighter than our sugar, and that means it is a bigger volume, and that's why I've got two containers, because I always do need the two when we're doing oats. So this one here is again another one of the 35s, and we've got a 20 as well. Now, do I dare try this cord again, or do I just bite the bullet and cut it? I should just cut it. All right, let's cut it from this end. That'll be a bit easier. If you are one of those people that knows the trick, please tell me in the comments, what am I doing wrong? Is there a particular end? Is there a particular thing that I look for? Because it's the same when I do the feed bags for the animals outside. I can never find the right spot to actually pull it to get it to nicely open. Okay, so let me double check. That's definitely my oats container. And again, I'm just going to tip that in. In fact, with this one here, I'm actually going to use another container to prop it And that just keeps a bit of the weight off my back. Not too much spillage. I was thinking I was tempting fate by sharing this with you guys, that there probably would be some big whoops in the kitchen spilling. What I'm going to do is just get a bit more weight out of that bag straight into this one, and then I'll top it up the rest of the way. Again, just makes it a little bit easier on the back. It's always good to just tap these down a little bit to be able to fit in a bit more. And then that little bit that's left in the bottom will just go straight into our kitchen cupboard. The next one here is the baking flour. Oh, I did have a tiny bit of that left, just a little bit. Actually, I did get a different one this time, so that was the one we got last time. Organic premium white baker's flour. Oh yeah, I got the stone ground this time, because I did think I'd give that different kind of flavour profile that it described on the website a bit of a go. So yeah, it'll be interesting just to see the flavour comparison between those. Now, where did I put those scissors? There we go. Definitely be doing a bit of sweeping after this. Now that there was a 12.5 kilo bag, and that fits absolutely beautifully in these 20 litre containers. Last but not least is the organic plain white flour. And again, we've got another 12.5 kilo bag, which will fit beautifully in this one here, which is another one of the 20 litre food safe containers. Now, I'm not sure if you guys could see as I'm doing this that in a lot of these containers there was tiny little bits of flour and stuff in the bottom. I haven't washed it out in between. If I'd had any like bug issues or anything like that, I would, but that hasn't been the case with any of these. I haven't had any of those sorts of issues. Again, touch wood. But if you do have that sort of problem, you probably want to give them a bit of a wash between really refilling up your containers. That one there, it's a beautiful pure flour. I'll bring you in so you can have a closer look at that. Look at that. That stuff there is wonderful when you're doing like really light cake making and things like that. It's a beautiful flour. Sponges, beautiful with a flour as fine and delicate as that. All right, that is our last one, the organic plain white flour. Pop up all my small containers, so things like the little flour and sugar, and also the sugar that we have on the bench. see the last bits of that sugar in there. Again, a lot darker than this one. It's good to have some sugar back again. I think the kids were too happy when it was cereal time and there wasn't a little bit of sugar to scatter on top. Okay, so that's the sugar's done. Flour is done as well. And over here, that was the rest of the oats. So I didn't quite get to the top of the cereal container that we put into our cupboard, but awfully close. There we go. So that's pretty much how it works for us for the bulk foods and doing an order like this from honest to goodness and topping everything up. Hopefully this share's been helpful just to see how you can do an order like this and also see how we store and also like what size containers actually work for different types of products. Definitely the 25 kilo bags in one of these 35 litre containers is wonderful, but things like the oats have way bigger volume and you definitely need a little bit more space. So you can see I've got more containers for that. And hopefully it was handy also seeing how we go from the bulk storage to the smaller ones like this that sit in our kitchen. I need to put all of this away now, and I also have a lot of cleaning to do over there in the kitchen. As always, thanks a bunch for joining. Catch you later.